Multiplying rational expressions. So rational expressions are going to deal with factoring, it's going to deal with canceling out. And we're going to start with multiplying, then we're going to do dividing, and then we're going to do adding and subtracting, and then we're going to solve equations. So with these, I would always say cancel out what you can. So remember, you need, step one is to cancel out. In order to cancel out, you need to have the same thing in the numerator and the denominator. That's how we cancel something out. So it could be in the same fraction, it can be in the other fraction. Just as long as one is in the numerator and one is in the denominator, then you're going to simplify by multiplying. So once you cancel out, go ahead and multiply and simplify. So if we look at this first example, we have 5n to the third over 9 times 5n over 8n to the third. First thing I notice are these n to the thirds. One's in the numerator, one's in the denominator. That means that they can cancel out. Okay? Other than that, 9 and 5, I can't cancel anything out, and 5 and 8, I can't cancel anything else out. So now I'm going to multiply across. 5 times 5 is 25, and we have that n. 9 times 8 is 72. So 25n over 72 is your answer. If we look at the second example, again, cancel out if you can cancel something out. So let's look at this first fraction. We have m plus 2 times m minus 4 all over m minus 4. These are the same, numerator, denominator. They can cancel out. They have to be exactly the same. Over here, we have a 9 and a 9. Those cancel out. So what do we have left? We have an m plus 2 in my numerator, and we have an m minus 8 in my denominator. That's it. You cannot cancel these out. They are not the same. We can't factor anything out of them. So m plus 2 over m minus 8 is how you simplify that expression. So we're not solving for anything, we're simplifying. If we move on to example 3. First thing, 4r to the second and 4r to the second. They're outside, they don't have anything else, they cancel out. Over here, I have 3 plus r and r plus 3. Those are exactly the same. They both have the same signs, so you can cancel those out. However, 7 minus r and r minus 7 are not the same. These are not the same. So when you go to multiply, we have r plus 7 times 7 minus r, and that's all going to be over r minus 7. From here, you cannot cancel anything else out. So nothing else cancels out, and that is as simple as that becomes. So always make sure you can cancel something out, and then simplify. In example 4, now we're starting to get into a little bit more difficult. So you first want to see if you can factor anything. Then you want to cancel out, and then you want to simplify. So if you look at this, we have 10a to the third minus 80a squared all over 8a minus 8. and that's going to be multiplied by 1 over a minus 9. So this right here, up here in the numerator, can be broken down. We know how to factor. We already did factoring. So I need to factor out the greatest common factor out of that. So looking at this, I can know I can take out a 10. And I know that I can take out at least an a squared, because that's my least exponent. When I do that, I'm left with an a, and I'm left with minus 8. So remember, when you factor out, you divide. So 10 divided by 10 is a 1. A to the third, and a squared gives me just the a. 80 divided by 10 is 8, and then the a squares, they technically go away. And then we have a minus 8 in the denominator there. And then we're going to multiply that by 1 over a minus 9. So a minus 8 and a minus 8, those can now cancel out. We made something cancel out. Multiplying across, 10a squared times 1 is 10a squared. On the bottom, we have a minus 9. And that is as simple as that becomes. In example 5, we now have a quadratic. So we have v plus 2 over v plus 1 times v squared plus 7v plus 6 all over v plus 6. So we need to simplify this quadratic in order to get something to cancel out. So remember, when you simplify a quadratic, we're going to keep this v plus 2 over v plus 1. We're not going to do anything with that. When we simplify this quadratic, we need two numbers that multiply to give me 6, but also add to give me 7. So my factors of 6 that add to 7 are, of course, 6 and 1. So that's going to break down to v plus 6 times v plus 1. So we have v plus 6 times v plus 1. And that's going to be all over v plus 6. So now, numerator, denominator, those cancel. Numerator, denominator, those cancel. Your final answer is v plus 2. Last example. Again, you want to factor out what you can. So if we look at this numerator, well, technically, let's look at this numerator. Let's look at this denominator. 49v squared plus 28v, 49v squared plus 28v. Those are exactly the same. They are going to cancel out. So now I'm left with 2v squared minus 12v over 2v squared plus 10v. You cannot just cancel out these two v's. They have to be pulled away. So, greatest common factor in the numerator is going to be 2v, and I'm left with v minus 6. Greatest common factor in the denominator is again 2v, and I'm going to be left with v plus 5. So now I can cancel out those two v's. And my final answer, v minus 6 over v plus 5. That cannot become any more simple. Your homework is in your textbook. It's on your agenda, the page number, and the numbers that you need to complete. If you have any questions, let me know.